Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, it's your boy LS3. Welcome to another week at Medicine Ball. Another opportunity to be great. Another opportunity to advance. But you already know before we get into it, let that beat drop. Yes. Welcome to Medicine Ball with your boy LS3 to be exact. And if you're in the shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome to Medicine Ball, where we're focusing on giving your brain a six-pack. Medicine Ball is a podcast dedicated to the idea of exercising your mind, but what does that mean? It means actively thinking about and dealing with all situations by first seeking to do anything other than what you are normally programmed and or comfortable in doing. Now, if you're not someone who purposely looks for alternatives as opposed to reacting in ways that require little to no effort, because let's be honest, that's easier, this will first require that you start practicing the idea of looking at things with an unbiased point of view, which in itself will increase your curiosity in life. Now, I already know most aren't used to this way of thinking, and like anything you want to get better at, it requires effort, practice, and hard work. Exercising your mind won't give you all the answers. You will, however, begin to live life with more empathy, understanding, and peace, while equipping yourself with more options and effective tools to help you deal with this thing called life, alright? So let's work. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. I am someone who has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder level 1 for 16 years, and I got to a point in life where I was looking at the person I was becoming versus the person I wanted to be. So whether you diagnose or not, or just someone who could use some hacks for this thing called life, welcome to Medicine Ball. This is your family. Let's go. All right, welcome. This week's episode of Medicine Ball is entitled P.H.D. Yo, that used to be one of my favorite songs. Oh, he got a P.H.D, a player-hater degree. But we're not talking about a player-hater degree. We're talking about patterns, habits, and discipline. And you already know what we're about here at Exercising Your Mind. So this week I'm going to talk about those things and how it plays into the whole idea of just looking at things from an umpire's point of view and bettering yourself and equipping yourself to be able to handle all of life's adversities, trials, and tribulations, anything you may have going on. All right? So, as I did let a lot of guys know via my website, my Patreon, that's a little plug, medicineballls3.com, medicineballls3.com, all that is on there. But I did go plant-based about 6 months. It's been about 7 months ago. And I talk to people all the time. Like, I do have a cousin who's vegan, and he's like super clean, like raw vegan. So, and he's credible because my aunt, his mother, has been like dealing with health food for as long as I can remember, a majority of my life. So, and I have another friend, she eats real clean, man. I'm gonna try to get both these people on the show and involved when we start talking about, your health. But long story short, I'm telling you that because when I see people talk about, hey, I work out a lot, or hey, man, I'm not able to lose the weight, or I just can't change the way I eat. How did you do it? How are you plant-based? Especially with my diagnosis and being who I am, I thought I'd get into it. So the first thing is, you gotta know yourself and be honest with yourself so you can set yourself up in the best situation to win. So before you know it, like, it's okay to psych yourself out if it's a healthy way. Like, if you want to tell yourself an apple is better than that box of Mike and Ike, if you know on a level, again, we talk about this in past seasons and whatnot, but you have to know where you are, and then you go ahead and set yourself up to win, right? So the P.H.D, how did that help with my plant-based diet? The first thing I did was get a pattern. So I named those people I just talked about, my cousin with the vegan and my close friend, I've known her for many years, who eats real clean. And I was already into just like blood type and things of that nature, but I did it for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to be healthier, and this is before what's going on now with the COVID and everything like that, and I wasn't just out of shape, but I just wanted to see if it could help me along the lines of my mental health and my thinking and things of that nature. So that was the first reason. The second reason was I was like, this would be dope to bring to my podcast, because people see me now, and like, it's weird. Like, another one, this is a little side plug, like Dwight Howard, right? He went vegan and he's still cut, but he's small, but they say he only lost like 15, 20 pounds. So it's like the same with me. Like, I'm down to like 198, 200 pounds, which is maybe like 15, 20 pounds off from where I was, but they're like, wow, it's just so drastic. I'm like, I'm still here, I'm not cut or anything like that. So, but, yeah, I got them to kind of start preaching to me, and I was like, okay, let me do it for my mental health. It would be dope to bring to the audience and incorporate my patterns, habits, etc., etc. Okay, so let me get into it. So, the pattern. So most people, I've talked about this in previous episodes, but most people when they look at patterns, they look at like a key to unlocking it. Well, that's what I talk about. A pattern is ultimately a key to unlocking anything that you have going on and anything that you're looking to do, right? But a pattern is also something that you can mold yourself by, right? Something that you can kind of like pattern yourself after, right? So I'm saying that to say I started psyching myself into it by like listening to the people close to me who were healthy, but also like I started watching like Gordon Ramsay, and like it wasn't for the drama, it was just to see people what's going on in the restaurants, and from that it kind of took my mind to like, man, it's best bet just to cook your own food. Now I'm not a super chef, but I'm much better now. But I was like, all right, so how can I cook my own food? I want to be healthier. I want to slim up a little bit and whatnot. What can I do? So I had a pattern of things to go by. So I had things that, because that's the first thing you kind of have to do. You have to find something to pattern yourself after. And then from that, I rolled into a daily pattern. So what I meant by that is after doing some research on the plant-based and whatnot, and this is what I have from it. Like I still eat meat, I still eat snacks and junk food, but it's just like all the way cut down minimum, right? So I started a pattern of like, yo, let me just eat a salad a day. I'm gonna still eat all this other stuff. Let me just eat a salad a day. I started that pattern of eating a salad a day and knowing myself and what I was sensitive to, which was seeing like what was going on out in the restaurants, and then like really tasting food and like looking at what it is, how it's cooked, who's preparing it. And I'm already like a cerebral person. So I'm thinking like, well, heck, if you go to McDonald's, like that ain't no 5-star chef back there. Nothing against you if you're somebody who worked at McDonald's or whatever, but they ain't no 5-star chef. Like you gonna trust them to prepare something that's already, and it is like, you get what you pay for on top of that. So with all of that, and again, this is my pattern and how I think as a businessman, I was able to use it to my advantage to start the salad a day thing, right? Then I went from that to like a financial standpoint, and I was like, man, let me start easing into cooking. So they went from just like the cheap little bag salads to let me go buy my own leaf types. Let me buy my own kale. Let me buy my own lettuce. Let me go buy my fresh tomatoes. Then it became an art thing, right? So it's like when I make my salads now, which I'm up to like 3 salads a day, a majority of my stuff comes from vegetables and fruits and all that, but we'll get to that. But now it's just like it's a masterpiece. Like I have my peppers out there. I have my tomatoes, my cucumbers, my carrots, my different kinds of lettuces, my strawberries, my apples, my grapes. And it's like a whole ordeal. And it's like I'm hyping myself up. It's just a salad. You feel what I'm saying? But for me, I know that that's what I need to get to that point. So I'm building the pattern of the salad. Now I went from salads to, man, I'm over here chopping up stuff. Let me jump on this little smoothie train, right? Another opportunity to get the part that I enjoyed out of it, which was the creation of it and all the color. Even the colors did something for me. Like I know it sounds weird, but just seeing all the colors and the smell, it just did something for me. So now I was like, man, let me get my own. And I'm to the point now where I got pineapples in the kitchen. I'm chopping down my own pineapples and all of that. But it went from that to the smoothie thing. And then it went from the smoothie thing to little other patterns on the other end. So like, listen, man, I was a sucker for some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, yeah, I know that how I felt about milk and what I read into milk, because I'm not trying to force that on anybody. I'm talking about the patterns, but the mental. On the other end, I was like, okay, I'm not going to eat a bowl of milk and a cereal anymore. It's just all milk. I don't need to eat any ice cream. All the dressings that I use for my salad already got it in it. Milk is in everything. Like, let's be honest. Like, listen, I'm just going to state one clear fact. And this is all I'm going to say about milk. There is no other animal that I know of who naturally, peep that, naturally drinks another species' milk except for us. Like, I'm not talking about in the zoo. That's not natural when they feed them whatever. I'm talking about where do you see in species a horse just going to be like, man, you know what? I got an option for horse milk, but I'm going to go hit this cow milk. It don't happen unless it's a survival thing. Like, yo, there's no horses left and there's a cow. So that's all I'm going to say about milk. But I started creating that. And then it was just like, Even when I wanted something sweet, it would be like, man, let me hit a smoothie. So smoothies got fresh strawberries, blueberries, mangoes, and that's gonna come on the Patreon page too. As soon as I build up more subscribers and more people who I know are locked in, I'm gonna give y'all the LS3 smoothies, because now when people see me, they're like, what happened? What happened? I went from the patterns into the habits. So my habit was, man, look, listen, I'm still a dude. I still got a regular 9 to 5. I'm not going to get up and cook the right breakfast every morning. But what I can do is make sure that my smoothies have cashews in it, honey in it, no non-dairy yogurt in it, and all of my stuff. And I can just, I'm catering to how I know I am to make it work for me. I might can't make a healthy breakfast, but I can darn sure drink a cup of healthiness. Bam, now it's a habit, man. Even if I don't eat anything, I can get my tail up and walk downstairs and drink a darn smoothie with all of these fresh fruits and vegetables in it each morning. Put something on my stomach. It just, I mean, scientifically it works. I'm not hungry throughout the day, etc. from etc. Now I'm gonna go more into that into the next seg of how I tie them together, but how that equals other things. But the last part is discipline, right? This is a big thing, and I'm not going to get too much on it, but it's part of the P.H.D. Like, you have to understand, the way I look at discipline is doing something that you don't want to do to your best ability and above. So doing something that you don't even want to do in the first place, but doing it better than you would ever do and putting full effort into it. And again, this goes back to knowing yourself, but discipline pays off, right? So this part is for everybody. Discipline will pay off. And again, this all ties into things that I talk about, but it's just like, you have to do what works for you. I turn discipline into a pride thing. I turn it into a logic thing, right? When I know that and again, I just practice it everywhere, but just let's say for the plant-based, like, I'm gonna make myself eat a salad. I get on the street, I start looking at discipline and then what it takes, and then it's just like, it goes from something I dread to something that I dread but proudly dread to do. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I'm going to get more into it, but the discipline aspect was just like, you have to find something along the lines of your patterns and habit that you know you can lock into and be disciplined about that one thing. You have to pick at least one thing. And for me, it was to eat the salad every day. Did I eat a salad every single day? So let's just throw out a number. If it's 300 days, did I eat a salad every single 300 days straight? No, but I darn sure ate a salad 290 days for sure. And that was one thing I can hang on to. If I ate pizza, if I ate something that was unhealthy, if I didn't drink enough water, I could hold on to that one thing that really, it looks like discipline, but it's also helping to keep you anchored and solid onto the principle of whatever you're doing. I was like, yo, I messed up, but I'm gonna eat this salad. I don't care if it was 11:30 or 12 at night. I was eating a salad into my body. You have to use the discipline. And when you tie all of this stuff together, it becomes something that you have built. You have built a whole new scheme that is a habit instead of each individual thing. So now the idea behind it takes over, and that is a habit. So, and I'm not for anybody else. And again, like, let me let y'all know, like, I'm down, but I'm about the COVID movement. We talked about that last week, man. And that's goddamn caring about others voluntarily in desperate times. I'm saying that to say I'm not in the gym, but this helps people a lot because, well, I'm not in the gym, but if I was in the gym right now, I would be shredded. And, I'm updating y'all with more pictures and photos and stuff on myself. MedicineBallLS3.com. You can follow my social links, MedicineBallLS3. That's what it is everywhere. But I know that the hardest part I see of people when it comes to dieting and just getting in shape, not even wanting to be plant-based, but just getting in shape. Like, I know as soon as I hit the gym when everything opens back up, Lord willing, that I'm going to be shredded in like 30 days because I've already gotten the hard part down, which is your diet. If you could control your diet and make that be not a chore, but your lifestyle, you never have to worry about for real being out of shape. All right, so I put that together and I made it be the plant-based P.H.D. And that goes into the oversight of exercising your mind and what we talk about here on Medicine Ball, man. You can use darn near every opportunity to become a person who looks at things unbiasedly, and then it just opens your mind up to be able to look at things in these crazy ways. I'm telling you, it's been many a times I like we'll get into that in the next segment, man, because I'm gonna shrink to do just that. I'm gonna link the exercise in the mind and a little bit more about my diagnosis and how I bring it all together and just give you guys more of a breakdown and show you too how you can start to look at things from a different point of view to deal with these complications or adversities, or not even that, just enjoy life more because you're able to look at it from a different point of view. All right, Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. As I said, man, medicineballls3.com is working. Shout out to everybody showing me love and support. Yo, we're gonna get back with the next seg, man. Check this beat out and we're gonna get back to you. Medicine Ball, yeah. Yes, y'all. Welcome back. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. If you're in shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome to Medicine Ball, where we're focusing on giving your brain a six-pack. In this week's episode, P.H.D. Not a player-hated degree. It's like every time I hear that in my head, I got to say it and not say it on the mic. But we talking about patterns, habits, and discipline, man. So in seg one, I talked about, how I incorporated this into becoming plant-based in my diet. And then this seg, I just want to talk about the P and the H, the discipline we're gonna save for the final seg to get y'all out of here with. All right, the patterns and the habits, man. So again, I hope y'all is going back and listening to some of the stuff. If you're a new subscriber, or maybe you just wanna be somebody who doesn't remember what we were talking about previously. But I always try to preface a lot of the things that I say when I'm relating it to myself by saying you have to know where you are with your journey of knowing yourself, being honest with yourself, who you are versus who you want to be, what it's going to take to get there, and like taking full accountability for your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm not perfect at that. But again, like, I think the thing that gives me a little bit of edge is with me being diagnosed bipolar with the anxiety and everything and not taking any meds, like, I find that it's easier throughout the day sometimes to just, or even in tougher situations, it's easier for me to, if I want to be lazy about it or unmotivated about it, to know myself and use my strengths as my weaknesses. So I give you an example. If you're a person who's a clean freak, but maybe, I don't know, maybe wants to lose weight, then maybe you should get a bunch of like fruits and vegetables that are designed to go on your counter, right? Because if you're a clean freak, you're either going to eat them or throw them away. But that's a way to kind of use your strengths as your weaknesses, and that'll get you into it. And we're going to roll right into it with the building of my patterns, life-wise, and just with me going plant-based. So, like I said, you have to look at patterns in two ways, right? Patterns is something that you can set yourself after, and it's also something that you create to unlock something else. And we talked about this, but patterns. So as I talked about in the last final end of the seg, man, the one thing that I was able to hold on to was the salad. Eating a salad every day, and that's what led me up into ultimately eating healthy overall better. And I'm not perfect. I still snack. Like, don't judge me. I don't want y'all thinking I got like a 12-pack or nothing like that. Nah, but I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like, it really has changed my life. I can honestly say, like, this is the first year where the pollen I noticeably saw a change in the pollen not bothering me. And on top of that, to keep it real, like, at one point last year, and like, thanks be to God for this, because let me sidetrack right quick to tell y'all that because it ties in. At one point last year, like, I remember where my eyes, I kept feeling like at certain times would just be like kind of blurry. It wasn't nothing huge, but just like enough for me to take notice of, right? And it's like, you only realize your problems until they're gone, and then very rarely do we go back to our problem and be thankful that we were through it. But it's just like, that's another thing. So the pollen didn't affect me as like, I haven't had to take an allergy tablet or none of that this year. And my vision, like, I haven't noticed the blur. And again, because I'm a person who looks for things to be thankful about and et cetera, like, I was like, dang, like, it really works because I don't even complain about it. But patterns, the salad, I held on to the idea of the salad, and I used that versus my ego and who I am, Mamba mentality. We talked about Kobe, and was just like, I would trash talk myself like, bro, you can't eat a salad. You can't eat a salad. let me get a salad in, bro, every night. Like, yo, and from that, you just start to create something. So I already had something to go after. You know, I talked about something to pattern myself after, which was my vegan cousin and my friend who eats very, very clean. Plus my experiences of looking in the food and how it's cooked. And I talked about it in the first seg. But I use that and I use it against me to kind of guilt myself into like at least staying with the salad. And from that pattern, it went into, you know, the pattern of just buying healthier things at the store. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm making a conscious effort to, like, yo, you can eliminate half the problem if you spend that money that you got on the budget on just a majority of healthy stuff, and you're gonna be forced to eat it. At least I was. And those two things transferred into habits. So then it wasn't a pattern anymore of buying healthy stuff at the store. It was a habit of, again, and this just goes into your curiosity of life and exercising your mind. Like, yo, oh, so the nine at the beginning of a fresh pair piece of kale means that it's organic versus everything else don't have a nine at the beginning of it. Okay. And it comes in from a pattern into a habit. So then my habit was to buy all of this stuff. And it for the first, my habits and my patterns reinforced each other because, like I was saying, I don't know what it is, but it's like time you take any fruit or vegetable out of the store is like it start ticking, especially strawberries, man. It's like, yo, you got 5 good days, man. And like I said, my dad had made a statement to me about, man, you got all that stuff you eating, you're gonna have to do some serious grazing. And that triggered something into me, and it turned my patterns into a habit of, yeah, I am gonna make my salad. And okay, now I'm making these big elaborate salads, but the fruits and vegetables not good for long. So now it's reinforcing my pattern to go ahead and eat it so I don't spoil it. And I spent my money on it. And okay, strawberries, dag, I can't put them all in a salad. Oh, okay, now I got a smoothie. Bam. Now I'm back to another habit. I make smoothie, which reinforces a pattern of drinking the smoothies. And all of that kind of turned me into an overall, to where those individual habits and those individual patterns turned into one big individual habit and pattern of just being more knowledgeable about what I eat. I'm not a health food kicker or anything like that, but I'm just definitely more aware of what I'm putting into my body and what it does for me. So, I mean, yo, I'm not no supernatural guy. Like, I am healthy. Like, people, I guess it gets on their nerves because now it's like I'm eating an apple a day. I'm eating 2 or 3 salads a day. I'm drinking a smoothie a day. When I cook, stir fry. If I'm eating pizza, cool. I used to be able to put down a whole little DiGiorno's pizza. Now, yo, let me eat my giant salad first with all my elaborate. If I know I'm getting it in, drink my water, and guess what? I don't even have no room, even if I wanted to, for more than 2 or 3 slices. Maybe 4 if it's a good night. So you have to use, and that's me giving you an example of how I use the plant based and the idea of exercising your mind, looking at things from unbiased points of view. I didn't go into the negative of, man, now I got a meal prep and I don't have time. I did. Initially, I started off, and it's like, bro, you're doing too much. Relax. You don't have to meal prep. Force your prep to force your meal. What do I mean by that? If you're buying nothing but vegetables and healthier stuff, man, like in my mind, I'm not a wasteful dude. It's gonna get eaten. And with the fresh produce, it has an expiration on it. Even if I freeze the fruits, it's gonna get drink in the smoothie. So that's what I challenge you guys to do. Know yourself, and with knowing yourself, try to start putting yourself in situations. It don't necessarily have to be your diet. It could be dealing with a frustration job. Put your patterns and your habits and try to start thinking of things unbiasedly. I recently have been blessed with a job that I kind of dig. It looks like it's room for growth for me there. And the biggest thing about it is I incorporated my patterns and the habits into that. I incorporated a pattern of starting to log on because I'm blessed enough to, I don't want to put all that out, but I started my start process early enough, way, way early enough every day from the training to make sure I was always there, even if I had problems. And that came from me just starting a pattern through what we're going to talk about in the next thing, discipline. And I'm going to show you how that, matter of fact, I'm going to save the rest of the work thing of how that discipline is turning into pride and touch on the discipline aspect. But even that, when you build a pattern of, like I said, being early on time, then it's like, before you know it, it's been like 4 months straight and you haven't missed a day and all your numbers is straight. Behind the scenes, you don't have to panic about it because you had built a pattern and you turned it into a habit. See, habit is not a bad word. It just has bad connotations associated with it, but if you put a bad before it. But if you make good habits and good patterns, it will open you up and you'll be able to exercise that in all aspects of life. All right? So try to find it, man. And I'm gonna get more on that on the patterns and habits at my job. But like I said, if you're a person, maybe I don't know, let's say you want to write more, or maybe you want to be a more listening type person, you have to go into it knowing that it's going to take some discipline, first of all, on the back end, which we're going to get into, because that discipline, you have to find at least one thing within whatever you're trying to do that requires discipline, which is doing something you don't want to do to your best of your ability, but also anchors you. You find that, and then find the things that you want to put together. So maybe you want to be a more understanding person, or a person who listens more. Find a discipline in it that works for you. Maybe you're competitive, so be like, hey, I'm gonna say no more than 3 sentences. Go. Now that sounds dumb, but even starting to do that will force you to listen in some kind of way, because you might be a competitive person. Before you know it, now you're really like, now I gotta find something to do while I'm waiting on this 3 minutes to break my record. Might as well listen to what the person is saying. And then from that, it will gradually turn you into a person to where you naturally become a more empathetic and listen person, or you're just able to be quiet in situations where you would normally speak because you took that time. All right. Medicine Ball with your boy S2E2 P.H.D. This week's episode, and then this time I've talked about, again, relating my plant-based to pattern and habits, which is part of the P.H.D. We're going to get to discipline next, and hopefully I was able to give you an example. And again, on my Patreon, if you subscribe, I got individualized motivations and little quickies that I'm gonna start releasing like every week, at least one every week. Like even after this podcast, I'm gonna go do my first one so it's there, because trick myself, momentum, already got it open, just clip. I might just clip it on to the end of this, copy the whole session, and delete everything except for the clip for my quickie for y'all. You always got to be looking for opportunities to get your win in, all right? Medicine Ball, LS3, check this beat. We're going to be right back with you with P.H.D. Yeah. Welcome back. Hey. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. If you ain't in shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome to Medicine Ball, where we're trying to get your brain a six-pack. Exercising your mind, man. Season 2, Episode 2, P.H.D. Patterns, Habits, and Discipline, Daniel-san. Discipline, Daniel-san. Alright? So, I don't know where I heard it. I don't know if it's in the book or next to the definition. I know I didn't make it up, but it stuck with me, man. And that's discipline. The idea of discipline being something that you don't want to do or dislike or not motivated to do. And that very same thing, doing it to your best of your ability, giving your all. Now, I know that might be a little exaggerated, but that's how I look at it. Those dishes I don't want to wash, or some mess that I might have not messed up, I'm going to clean it up. And I'm going to do my best to it. Because that in itself, thinking like that, and if you're that type of person who has some type of virtue and honor about themselves, like that is going to make you start looking at more and more opportunities for you to practice it. And the more you practice it, the harder it will be to run away from doing something that's hard or doing something that you don't want to do, but doing it to your best of your ability. And as I was talking about in the final segment, even with my new job, I'm not even going to go all the way into it, but just like, I'm humble about it, thank God, because I'm not going to change. But like, I get to what I need to do early, and I set that as a pattern till it became a habit, and then that habit makes you want to be the best. But then that's what it starts building, is more than that. And I'm gonna drop that in my quickie, man. I'm gonna make y'all go check out my quickie on my Patreon, where I'm gonna talk about the P.H.D. and why I'm always linking the pattern and the habit together. I'm gonna talk about that. But anyway, yeah, man, you got to link them together. And it's just like that pattern started making me take the job more serious than I ever did. It's something that I do that requires a lot of patience, and it is, to be honest, complicated. But it all started because of where I am and wanting to always look at things from the other point of view and always looking for opportunities to reach out and help people within my scope, right? So I've been at a dope job before. I think I might have told y'all, man. I had worked at State Farm, man. And like early on, I slacked so much on the training. And when I say I slacked, like I was there, like, but it was just kind of like I didn't take it serious to where I needed to. And I ended up at the end of the training finding myself being the kid that's behind, which is very, very rare for me. Like even the people who were ahead of me knew little secrets and little sneaky stuff they was doing, but I wasn't even knowledgeable enough to know about that. And long story short, it ended up like really stressing me out. It caused a whole like stress breakdown, and it bit me in the tail, and I realized I blew it. So when I went into this job, which is somewhat similar in some ways, I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this different. Not only am I going to get in here and take it more serious, and by that I mean, let me explain, like I'm not being goody two shoes, raising my hand and volunteering to do stuff. No, but if they're saying something, I'm looking at it. So even with this job, I researched the reviews on this job for like, I put in work on that so that when some of the stuff came to fruition, I wasn't shocked, I wasn't caught off guard. So I took it very serious. And as I'm taking it very serious, I'm seeing people who was me in my other job who I don't know if they're I'm not gonna say they wasn't taking it serious, but they didn't take it serious enough and started getting lost. And I remember being that person. So I used that as a moment to be empathetic. So it's like I help where I can, but I wasn't being overly bearing because I would remember being that person. And it's not my job to be like, yo, this is my life story. If people want to listen, I tell them why I would do it. But I was just like, okay, yo, look, I'm going to help where I can. And that turned like toward her into a leadership role to like, I'm on a track, God, and I don't even want to talk about it because you're supposed to be humble, but I'm just on a good track. But from those patterns and habits of just clocking in early and wanting to be early to, oh my gosh, I'm actually catching on to this stuff quicker than a lot of people. And oh my gosh, people are asking me questions. That formed into a big pattern or habit because now I'm on top of my stuff. But now it's not about a pattern or habit anymore. It's because when somebody come to me and ask me something, they asking me something that I'm honored enough to think that they feel like I got some knowledge on. So it would be like wrong of me to sell them short and not be studying when I need to and not be doing the little stuff that I would say is nerdy, sucking up stuff. If anybody else or in another mind, I would be saying like, yo, he the nerd, he the sucker. I ain't even gonna flex to you. But it's like, I know why I'm doing it. It's not even the job. Like I'm blessed for the job, but it's not like I'm trying to make a career. Y'all see what I'm doing. Y'all see what I'm doing out here. You know what I mean? But it's just like, if I'm knowledgeable too, like I'm not going out of my way to study this stuff to make sure I'm knowledgeable for people who ask me questions. I'm able to do it casually. So why not? Why not? And that discipline came from the discipline of just getting up and clocking in early, anchored me to the foundation of becoming a virtuous stand-up person. Now it's like, bro, you need to be on you can't slack today. They coming, they aiming for you. Like I just realized that today, y'all. No flex. Like these folk coming for me. I'm the person they coming, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that in a cocky way, but it's just like, now it's like I want to be on top of it, not to compete with nobody, but just to make sure that I can help people within my grasp. Now it's something I'm growing with. I'm not perfect with it, but that one thing of being disciplined anchored me along and well as aligned with the person I want to be in my life, which is a stand-up, virtuous, God-fearing, good, kind-hearted person. I make mistakes, but I want to help where I can, and I don't have to be Captain Save 'em. And that's where I think people get lost. Even with that help thing, like I used to want to do too much, and I had to kind of know myself, and now I'm to a point where I do, where it's obvious. So it's like, if you know you can help somebody out, man, and it's just like beyond you to help them out, and it's just an opportunity to be an empathetic person, like my discipline and my morals won't let me not reach out. If you ask a question 3 times and nobody's answering it, I'm not jumping out on the first question, but after the 3rd time in 20 minutes, yeah, I'm gonna say something. I'm not being overwhelming. I'm not being a nerd. I'm just picking my spots. But all of this goes into the idea of you have to be exercising your brain, man. Like at the end of the day, if you're not a person who wants to look at things unbiasedly and be able to find these opportunities to turn things that most regret into really blessings and opportunities for you. And I'm not perfect at it. I struggle with it every day, but I exercise it, man. And you guys can too. Just like my discipline, man. Even with that, man, it's just simple as locking on to the salad ends up to me eating an apple every day. Why? Because I bought so much stuff for the salad and no sweet stuff through my patterns and habits that my discipline from the beginning of the salad and needing to buy the stuff for the salad ultimately played back around into it. It's almost like the triangle offense, man. But you have to find the discipline in order to, whenever approaching anything, to get your patterns and habits right. It starts with at least one discipline, man. Just one. Don't go into something where it's like, yo, I got to do this, and this. I don't like none of it, and I got to do it. No, I don't do that. Just start with one thing, because it will begin to build a sense of pride in being disciplined. And I try to do that every day. Every day, I try to at least do one or two things that I just walk by and I despise. Like, if I'm like, man, I just absolutely don't want to clean my bathroom. Like, I'll try to pick a moment like that to stop everything and clean my bathroom. If the kitchen's dirty and I'm just tired and exhausted, I try to pick a moment like that. Bam, just pick my spots. And that will eventually build something beautiful in you. Then you'll start becoming a more compassionate, empathetic person. And you'll be able to unlock yourself and what works best for you into a few little tips, tricks, and hacks at this thing called life, all right? So those are the things, man. Patterns, habits, and disciplines. And I implore you, man. And again, don't overwhelm yourself, even if you're a person who's further along with your personal journey of where you want to be versus who you are. Don't overwhelm yourself, man. Just pick one thing. Just one thing. And if you don't have a project that you're working on, just one thing every day. How many times do you walk by or deal with something where you're just like, I don't have the energy, I don't have the time, I don't have the patience, I'm disgusted, I'm grumbling about it? How many of them opportunities do you have? Just start off each day, just pick one, and right when you get that mentality, go do it. It could be taking the garbage down to the street. You got to learn to get victories and battles and wins for yourself that will be able to help you. And I'm telling you, if you just start picking one a day, then you might start picking two a day. Then you might start picking three a day. And once you get focused on the discipline, when you do encounter something that might be challenging or something that might be overwhelming or might seem impossible, you have to pick one little thing and just be disciplined on that little thing. And I'm telling you, it will help you to build your patterns and your habits, and you'll be running the P.H.D before you even know it. All right. So medicine ball, man. Yo, I made even as I'm talking to y'all about like setting yourself up for patterns and habits and stuff to win, like even a year ago, or it's almost a year when I started this podcast, like I wasn't good, and I'm still not at like organizing, taking notes, writing down content, and putting things together. But somehow it led me into where I have a business plan written out for the episodes. And the COVID episode was long because it was my first time back. But I made a promise to keep the episode short. And I just wanted to give y'all this story because it is wrapping up, man. So go check my Patreon. Follow me on all social medias, Medicine Ball LS3. I have a website that links you to all this stuff, man. I tried to make it as easy. Like, I'm trying to meet y'all there. MedicineBallLS3.com. Listen, man, until we meet again next week, I'm going to drop that quickie just as I said right after this, because now I've psyched myself into being accountable, even though y'all would never know if I did or not. I'm going to do it. But yo, man, take these opportunities to always look at things unbiasedly and try to look at them from different point of views. I'm not asking anybody to choose a right or wrong. I'm just asking you to, before you do what you would normally do or what's easiest to do, just take a pause and think about it. So if you want to uppercut somebody, let me not say that. If you want to skip your diet plan for the day, all I'm saying is just stop for a second and think about what is the alternative to doing it this day. And then if you want to skip it, go ahead, all right? It's about exercising. Patreon, I'm going to drop that for y'all. Videos coming. Y'all can email me, medicineballls3@gmail.com, medicineballls3.com. Twitter, Instagram is medicineballls3. I think I gave y'all everything. I love y'all. And remember, man, somebody hears you. Somebody understands you. Never give up. You got this. I love y'all. Till next week. Yeah, I'm out.